Hi everyone, it's Dave here and I've got a guest with me today. This is Jim.
Oh, yep.
We're going to have a little chat to Jim today and get his thoughts on a few topical issues. So Jim is he's from down south, he's a southern tofty, but he seems to be surviving in the northern wilderness. Anyway, Jim is he's an interesting fella, so like I say, we're just going to have a chat about all the important topics that are affecting us all this year. And not only this year, but just some important topics generally, really, the state of society and the state of the world. So, basically want to start, Jim, by, well, can you just give us a little introduction of who you are?
Dave asked me to have a chat because obviously we've all got opinions and views on what's going on at the moment. My background in my life, I was in the army for 12 years, very proud, guardsman, then logistics. Done a few years on Civvy Street, got a bit bored with the mundaneness, and then joined the police, and I was a police sergeant in the police just over 12 years. And now I'm semi-retired. I deal with property and rentals. So I'm well travelled all around the Middle East, all around the world, lived in Cyprus, Gulf War One, Northern Ireland, so I've been around, done quite a lot of stuff. So that's my background.
Yeah, a lot of interesting experiences. So Jim, I wanted to talk about, obviously we know what's happened this year, and if we rewind back to, say, February, maybe end of January, start of February, when we start hearing on the news about this new disease that's going to be a huge threat to us all, and it's going to rip through the population, and we should all be scared. Now, I originally was sceptical because, as you probably know, and anyone who's watching this, I am very cynical about the media, and I think that scaremongering is what the media does. I think they did it with Trump, did it with Brexit, did it with Millennium Bug, did it with AIDS, a lot of different topics that they've created worst case doomsday scenarios for, and I thought, this is just the same. However, I noticed a lot of people around me becoming very, very worried and concerned, and it built to a panic by mid-March and lockdown. And I finally thought, Dave, you've got this wrong here. At which point I completely switched and I was taken in, and I was scared that I was going to lose family and friends to this terrible disease, until I again had another shift in perspective and realised that my original instincts were correct and that I'd been taken in by the propaganda and the brainwashing. And I know that your experience was similar, so I just wanted to find out what your experience was, and also talk about the crucial importance of changing your mind when you're subjected to new information. I hope you can hear us, but there's a bit of a breeze today, but yeah, so Jim, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I was much the same. I heard about it in January. I go to the gym every day and speaking with other people, and we were joking at the time, thinking, oh, if it comes over here, we're all going to be fucked, basically. Anyway, it did come over here and it started spreading, and I was taken completely, I say taken in by it, and I'll explain why I feel like I was taken in by it. Oh, let's go over the side.
Car coming. We'll let the car go past.
I'll just stand here a sec. So, I'll just let this go by. Yeah, so I think it was about March, April, when I started questioning it. We were on a group, and some people were just saying, look at the facts. I was going to the shop. I was even holding my breath when
So was I. Yeah.
When I went out for a walk or a cycle with the kids. I've got 3 young boys.
Watching the shopping.
Yeah.
Scared to go near anybody. Yeah.
I was a full hit.
Yeah.
I was making. Yeah. In fact, my wife didn't believe in the washing of the shopping when we got in, but I was like, no, this is kill us. If I get it, I'm going to die. And I was expecting to see bodies everywhere, and then the news come out. They were making ice rings into mortuaries, and the hospitals were overfull. And then someone just said, look at the facts. So I've never gone on to ONS, the
Office for National Statistics.
Yeah, the website. So I started looking at that, and then it became apparent really the figures didn't match up with the news, what was coming out.
Yeah.
So I've done a bit more digging, and I've just had to put it out there. I'm not a conspiracist. I'm not into. I don't do this. The vaccine being. I don't go off.
No, it's fine. Just keep chatting.
That this vaccine's going to pinpoint and let you know when I'm sat on a loo or if I'm walking down the lane around Lydia. So I'm not that side, but I don't know, and I'm still sceptical to why they're doing this.
So all the cards are on the table for you. You're not ruling anything out, but you haven't committed to one particular kind of like strand of thought related to it.
No, I think it's more for a reset, but a reset with control attached to the government and the people in power.
So just straight to, we'll let this car go past, talking about control there, because it's my opinion that we are currently living through a health, economic, social and political revolution, just that most people haven't really realised it yet and haven't processed it. Certainly a social revolution in terms of people's behaviour changing. As we alluded to, our behaviour changed as well. Here's some more cars. As exemplified best of all by the ubiquitous wearing of masks. And this brings us back to what you were talking about there, about I think you were going to start talking about the propaganda and the messaging behind this.
Yeah, well,
it's possibly conditioned society already. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it very practically.
Yeah.
I wore a mask. I don't wear a mask now. I'm not anti anyone who wears a mask, but I want to have the freedom of not wearing something because I believe in COVID. Let's just get that out there, and I believe people are dying of it.
Yeah, I do as well. Yeah, that's important to qualify that.
But I can't justify the response, what we're doing economically, but more for society. And I'm thinking for my family, my boys. I've got 3 young boys. The mental health is causing. I stood out there, clapped the NHS and the key workers, and I thought this was all right. And the more I look at it, I feel like I was hoodwinked basically by the government and by basically the lies constantly fed. I bet there's no cars down here, Dom.
Not usually this many cars, no. Because they know you're here, Jim.
And
coming out.
So yeah, I've explained to Dave before. It came out like a bit like the Matrix. When you see it for what it is and you look into it, you can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it.
And that's the thing with me.
Like one of those magic eye things.
Yeah, well,
you look at it.
Yeah. You look at a picture and then you see a skyscraper coming out the picture at you, like New York. It's like suddenly I can see what's going on.
And someone has been saying to you, no, it's there, you just can't see it. And you're like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it is. I promise you it is. And then you see it.
Yeah.
And then you can't unsee it, can you?
But I'm a bit pragmatic, so I look at figures all the time.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago was the last time I looked at the figures. And this is healthy people. Healthy people have died of COVID. Well, been put down as dying of COVID, but under the age of 60, and it's just short of 400 since January. In the whole of the UK.
Out of a population of 65.6 million people, isn't it?
Yep, and that's a government. And if you want to go under 11, it's 2 across the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
That's of healthy children. I think this is 9 now reported children under 11, but a lot of them are real, sadly critical conditions in the first instance. And I then look at the figures of daily deaths in any case. Between 650 and 800 a day die of heart-related and cancer-related issues. And that's very sad, as is every COVID death. But 40% of them, again from the NHS, are saying they're preventable if they didn't smoke, healthy, diet, lifestyle. Now, I'm slightly overweight, ex-smoker, drink too much. So I take my risk with that. I'm mostly one of them 40%. If I drop down dead with a heart attack, it's because one of them. But
you would acknowledge, well, not that you could acknowledge if you were dead, but you believe in the right to in the fact that you're responsible for your own health and your own safety, for your own health, and that you're very pro-choice in terms of how you want to live your life.
Yeah, people smoke. I'm not going to tell them they can't smoke or they want to have 2 packets of biscuits a night. That's their individual thing. But if they know they're overweight, they know they're overweight. If that's going to put excess pressure on their heart, or they get cancer, unfortunately from smoking, which my mother did, and she died young, solely from smoking. But that was her choice, and you can't put them choices. What I don't like is a choice being taken away from me and the whole of society in this bloody madness when people are being forced to wear face masks. Why are people not being forced to stop smoking, stop eating? You know, because they're putting a burden on the NHS. But I don't believe the burden is justified either, because I give bloods. I'm on a lot of medication, and I gave bloods about 6 weeks ago in Southport, and I spoke to a nurse, and there's 54 patients with COVID across 4 wards. Not one of them was taken in due to COVID. They all brought it in there, all tested positive whilst in there. Now, any of those people who sadly die of whatever they've been taken in there for, which wasn't COVID, are going to go down for COVID.
In the official statistics.
And remember, it's anyone was tested positive in the last 28 days. It's irrespective of the cause of death, it goes down as a COVID statistic.
And this is really crucial, this, isn't it? And this is what we think maybe that people maybe don't necessarily acknowledge or understand.
Yep.
Is that just explain that again, Jim?
Yeah. So for logical, anyone what's tested positive for COVID, when they go into hospital for any related, and remember they also got up to an 8% false positive, so that got to be taken into consideration. If they die of heart conditions, cancer, whatever they've gone in for, they will go down as a COVID. But another one, and this, I can't prove this, so it's just my word. One of my tenants, what does statistics, works for a certain hospital, and was basically told to put figures down once someone died in hospital, if the relatives were spoken to and they had any COVID related symptoms in the previous 28 days, they also go down as
even
COVID.
without any tests.
Without any test.
Yeah.
And another point.
That is actually on the government's own website, actually, that
okay.
the COVID deaths can be reported as caused by COVID simply if symptoms were present, COVID symptoms were present.
Yep, and another one, which is to play with the statistics for the pro sort of COVID, if you like, is if you go to a test centre and register your name and you leave, and I know this because my sister-in-law's a social worker, and a lot of them are working overtime in Preston doing COVID testing and helping out. If they put their name down and then told it's an hour wait or whatever, and they leave, they then get a call the next day because they've got symptoms, and they also go down as a positive without even having a test.
So there's clearly a lot of room for questioning, isn't there, with regard to the official narrative that the media's been shoving down our throats for, what is it, 10, 11 months now? Why do you think there's still quite a widespread lack of questioning in the general public, even though there are more people asking questions now than there were
I think
a few months ago? What explains the relative apathy in the population and naivety, possibly? Do you see that? Or
yeah, I see it every day. I see people what basically agree that the proportion of what these lockdown, I mean, no one's got a clue anymore with tears, lockdown here, can't eat there, can't do, you can sit down and have a Scotch egg. I know we
love a Scotch egg.
The famous Scotch egg, yeah, you're not going to get COVID, and open a window and COVID will blow through. But I'm seeing people what are agreeing, and when they look at it logically, agreeing with everything mostly we're saying, but go along with it. And
yeah.
I've got family and friends what go along, you know, put the face nappy, or sorry, the face mask on, and go along with it, because they're being made out to be guilty. If they don't wear it, they're going to basically kill everyone around them, which is absolute nonsense. I mean, the debate of face masks has been going on and on. But
and I think it's, sorry Jim, just to interject, I think it's important to make this point right now that, well, with regard to face masks, during the first wave, obviously February, March, April, there were not many people wearing face masks. They weren't recommended, were they?
Nope.
It wasn't until the July the 27th that they were mandated, by which point the virus, as it's one during the summer months, was suppressed to a large degree. That face masks were mandated. The WHO has admitted that their advice on face masks was changed, not due to any health reasons, but because of political lobbying. And you know, the biggest point of all is that you talk about the burden of proof. Well, there is no proof that face masks work in reducing the spread of coronavirus. And yes, there's studies that have provided evidence that they do. There's also studies that show that they don't, and there's even studies that suggest that the wearing of face masks actually helps increase the spread of the disease. And I would guess that's due to improper use and people's poor hygiene standards, handling the masks all the time, leaving them discarded around. So sorry, just to make that point on the face masks.
I think it's I think it's even simpler than that. I think it's a control. It's another drip. If they can get you to wear a face mask, they can get you to stand 2 meters away from someone until you get to the reduced aisle, and then they're like rats up a drain pipe.
Oh, they forget that, don't they? Yeah.
Everyone's touching the same product, then they're coming out, putting their hands on their face to take the face mask off. So it's a control. That's a control, as well as the daily figures of
a constant visual reminder all the time, isn't it? I guess for the public that they're seeing people in face masks, they're seeing the signs telling them to stay apart, to wash their hands, you know, to do all they can to stop the spread of the virus. It's just this constant drip feed of fear, isn't it? I guess, and that is propaganda, isn't it?
Well, propaganda is the word, because they've drip fed every part of this.
Yeah.
But you see many people out there half wearing them or half having them down, because obviously they agree the same as us. The proportion of all this is not justified. That's what they can't. However, they still wear it. And like I said, I've got family and friends who do the same just because it's the easier option. But I think sometimes in life, the easier option isn't the right option. The more we stand up and question it. Now, I'm not saying if I got COVID, I wouldn't die, because people are dying of it. But I want to live my life for living my life, and not, you know, live in fear of death, because you only live the once. Now,
do you think that's another strand to the propagandists? Maybe the most successful aspect of what they've done is that they've convinced people that they no longer have an immune system and they no longer have their intuition, and they've kind of like subverted the way a lot of people think about life and death. Do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They've scared people into such a panic that everyone's now scared of death without actually
living their life.
You know, we could all go around. There's that bus driving around, what will knock you over the next day. You know, there's car accidents, suicides are going off. It's gone from 18 average a day from last year to date, and we're now looking at 30, 33 a day.
Yes.
So the mental health, my boys, I won't go into personal detail about them,
no,
but it's affecting all their mental health. You know, so I won't have the TV on, the radio, with just constant doom and gloom, because that next generation is what you know, it's only a small stand not wearing a face mask. And I'm not just, if someone doesn't want to wear it and they believe in it, but all I'd ask is, if anyone out there just believe in it, just ask simple questions and look at statistics. Don't go into conspiracy, don't go into, just look at the statistics, and then if you're happy with it and you continue to tell yourself that whatever the government is saying is correct, then if that's your belief, that's your belief. I'm not trying to change anyone's view. I'm just saying, for my view, when I've looked at it, once you do see it though, I can tell you now, you won't be able to unsee it, you know, because it's
so obvious, isn't it?
Well, it is to us, but not to everyone. But,
that's what I mean. Once you wake up and you realise that the new normal is already here, and that society has degenerated in quite a few different ways, and that we are on the path to potentially something very, very sinister, I think it brings out a kind of like a passion to want to at least open up a conversation, and that's what this is about, isn't it? I think it's not about trying to change people's beliefs. It's about simply asking them maybe to challenge their own beliefs about what they're seeing and what they're hearing, and asking questions, which isn't really difficult, is it?
Well, it's not, but my stance on it is, again, I keep it simple. That's my choice. My choice not to.
It's going to blow my nose.
It's my choice not to wear a mask or not believe in the extent of this. But I feel like we're made out if you don't believe that it's as bad as it is, and you do question that basically we're wrong and evil. The press make you out that you're selfish, you're not helping out the community and your communities, and that, you know, Piers Morgan bleating on that we're all selfish if you don't wear a mask or you don't have the vaccine, you know, because it won't work. And the vaccine itself, again, that's a personal choice. But this So Safe vaccine has come out. I don't think it's a tracker or conspiracy onto that, but you can't have it if you've got MS. You can't have it on blood thinners. You can't have it if you're pregnant. They're now talking about pregnant, bearing age women not having it. You can't have it if you're on blood thinners, etc. So this, or significant other issues, health issues. So,
and that conversation around the vaccine is quite one-sided as well in the media. Would you agree? Regarding the people who want to open up a conversation about the potential side effects or whether it's safe, what the risks attached to it are. Are those people being properly represented, or are they being dismissed as nut jobs?
No, yeah, and never again. You don't get the media. You are a nut job. If you not conspiracies into the vaccine. I'm not a conspiracist. I'm just saying I don't think I need something what's got potential more side effects, and I don't even know the long-term effects. Simple questions. What's the long-term effects? If they've already come out with all these effects and they're telling you not to take it, they don't know the long-term effects. And they're other simple. They don't know how long it lasts. It could last a month. It could last 6 months. And then they make it out like to be a flu vaccine that you need a top-up. There's something disproportionate. You don't need a vaccine for something that most people don't even know they've got. How many people go and get a test because they're told to? And I was in the gym yesterday, and they're doing tests in the gym, in the pool area, and they came out and asked us, "Oh, class, do you want to get tested for COVID?" Well, none of us got any symptoms. We're well, so why do you get tested for something that you don't know you've got? Yeah. You know, they might as well go do a screening for everyone to see if they've got cancer or any other health issues. Why COVID when it's so low in numbers?
I think that's a really good point, because you just mentioned cancer there. Now, the testing schedule and the test and trace programme, that is corrupt in a lot of different ways. You're not even going to talk about that, but the amount of money that's been spent on it, 1/6 of the NHS budget has been spent on test and trace. That is a hell of a lot of money, tens of billions of pounds. And when you think about this year, the people that have been neglected, including cancer sufferers, and these are the uncomfortable truths that I think maybe, certainly the media aren't reporting, but maybe a lot of people aren't aware of what they are, but they choose to ignore. Cancer sufferers who have had treatment withdrawn from them this year, people with cancer symptoms who haven't been getting screened, and then we talk about, you mentioned your children, where children, vulnerable children, old people in care homes, mental health epidemic, all these different areas of people who need resources and attention directed their way have been let down, all in the name of COVID. Now, this is my view. I just want to ask you to tell me what you think. Have we lost all perspective? Is this a case of terrible, terrible confirmation bias supported by propaganda that a lot of people bought into? Or is there something sinister behind it? What is it?
To be honest, I don't know. What they're doing is making it sinister. Whether that's intentional, but I think there is reasoning why they're doing it, and I put it down to control in the first instance. But I don't know what the end goal is, because they've started to get in that control, but there's also an uprising. But for mental health, all three of my boys got disabilities in relation to mental health. Mental health conditions. And like I said before, I won't let them have it because it plays on their minds. They suffer with anxiety as it is. And again, it's drip fed, so that's not just for children, that's for adults. I take a weekly injection of chemo for blood issue I have problem, and again, I was going into hospital and I have to be monitored once a month even through the lockdown, and the staff are sat there no one's doing anything. They're either not treating those. So what's the death rate of people not being treated and then going up? So again, the balance doesn't make right. And I think it's increased, isn't it, by 15% year on year for serious sort of cancerous issues. So I don't know what the end game is. All I know is the truths aren't being told to why the proportion of this. Well, it's an economic shutdown. For what reason? I don't know.
Well, the death rate in the UK at the moment from coronavirus is 0.1%. Approximately, I just looked at the figures there on Worldometer. I think 65,500 out of 65.6 million people. It's really, really.
Well, just put it on this side then. Put it on that 2017 and 18. Flu outbreak. Yeah. No one. Only people have heard it now. Just over 50,000 people died of flu
in a much shorter space of time as well.
Shorter space of time. But let's go back to that 65,000 number. In the early months, people aren't being registered to die of flu, but it weren't up until August. So everyone that died of flu has been put down as a COVID. Anyone was tested positive, remember going back to the 28 days, it's been put down as COVID. So I don't even think it's 0.01%.
I agree.
I would say if it's a third of that, I'd still think that's exaggerating. And you've got to be proportionate. Yes, sad people die. Sad people die of all sorts of conditions. It's no sadder because you die of COVID. It's just another cause of death.
Well, I've found that sorry to interject, Jim, particularly nauseating actually. Many occasions when I've tried to open up a conversation, and I know other people as well, regarding the broad situation such as what we're doing here, and you're met with, you've got to stay safe, you've got to do as we're told, you've got to think of the people who've died, you're selfish, without any acknowledgement whatsoever that, okay, old people do die, unfortunately it's a fact of life, average age of death, for anyone who doesn't know, is 82. And secondly, as you just alluded to there are people dying of different conditions and different reasons all the time. A fact which is only going to be inflated even more so because of the effect of lockdowns.
Yeah.
So it seems to be so myopic, and people seem to become very, very myopic about just one particular strand of their health, and I guess that's the power of the messaging and the propaganda, possibly.
Well, the messaging's only if you feel like we do, then you're then made to feel guilty for not having empathy of someone dying of COVID. But you can only have empathy for people you know.
I
can't feel sorry for every person who dies. I can feel sorry for children when you hear a story that die of any death, not COVID, but I'm not being made out as being some far right loony extremist just because I don't wear a mask and I don't have empathy for someone who's died in Cornwall, because someone in Cornwall's died of in a car accident, someone in Cornwall's died of cancer. There's only so much empathy you can have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I find it very, very disingenuous and bordering on cowardly, I guess, because it's a refusal to engage in the most important debate of our times, hiding behind slogans, hiding behind sound bites that the media come out with. That's not really good enough, is it?
It's just control again, isn't it? It's just if they can turn the majority against the minority, they've got control, and it's just another tap of the control. I know you don't watch much media, but then also if you open a window, you can let the old COVID out your front room at Christmas.
You were telling me about I think that the brainwashing has become beyond deranged now.
Oh, there's an advert, yeah. I was telling
you were telling me about it before.
There's a mask, they've got this green evil mist coming out of their mouths when they're speaking to people. So basically, you're going to kill anyone you speak to or get closer to. Then they put their mask on and the evilness goes away because this mask is on, and then they show heated bodies in a living room.
Yeah,
they open up.
Careful, nearly slipping mud.
Open up a front door and open a window, blow the old COVID away. So you just look at it practically.
Absolutely. We'll just get past this load of swampy mud here, and then I want to ask you one more thing before we finish, which is whoa, Jim just nearly fell in the canal. I would have carried on interviewing him there.
I would.
And then I would have pulled him out. Hello. Right, let's blow my nose. Yeah, do you know about a second, Jim?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay, so you mentioned there the word far right. Now, I contend that we're living in an era defined by labels, slogans, sound bites, and I talk about it a lot. Not a very enlightened era, and one whereby the media narrative is dictated increasingly by the far left, which I think has infiltrated academia, politics, including even the Conservative Party, the legal system, the arts, the police and the public sector, and particularly the media. And we're not even necessarily, we're definitely not seeing a range of views represented. I don't feel like the people of this country, small C conservative country, are being represented by the media. Now, it seems these days that if you have an opinion contrary to the media narrative, you're dismissed as a nut job, a conspiracy theorist, a selfish whatever you want to expletive you want to insert, or if you don't if your views don't tally, if you don't hold the correct opinion. I mean, I've had some of my content censored on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook page. Protests now are banned. So are we living in dangerous times with regard to freedom of expression and freedom of speech and freedom itself?
Well, we haven't got freedom. They've taken it away because the Black Lives Matter, that's one typical, because that is a wrong movement. They want to get rid of, if you look at what they actually stand for, they want to get rid of police services around the world, and basically there'll be anarchy. But the media have twisted it, and basically if you're a white middle-aged male, you're not apologising for being a white-aged middle-aged male and for our past, then you are looked at as far right or as being a racist. But I can say, hand on heart, I'm not a racist, and that's enough, because I know I'm not. But I don't believe in the Black Lives Matter. If you feel that way, then campaign, but causing criminal damage, terrorising, meeting up, which again wasn't put down by the press, but as soon as you meet up, it's about the restrictions on COVID, you're looked on again as being this far right extreme.
Yeah.
You know, like
walking germ factory.
You're a moron basically, because you think this. Yeah. But the media, if there's no one on TV, got to stand up and say, they're all apologising for being white and not understanding how people of ethnic minority feel. But there's a lot of ethnic minority standing up for themselves and saying, don't feel sorry for me, so there's no need.
And this movement doesn't represent me and what I believe in.
Well, it doesn't represent them either, because they don't get on TV.
That's what I mean, doesn't represent the person.
If someone black goes on there and says, I don't agree on Black Lives Matter, they're not looked at as far right, obviously, because they're a black colour. But they're not also...
But they're called a coconut or something like that, aren't they? Black on the outside, white on the inside.
Yeah. So, they're looked upon as, well, they're just one of a minority. The whole press, the whole freedom of speech, the freedom of talking is gone, really. Especially if you've got views, and when you see how clear this is up. But if I end up on that, I just say, look at statistics, look deeper into the reasoning for why they're saying restrictions and what we're doing and not doing, and when you unearth it, you'll find out it's not necessary. And I think most people know that, but they just toe the line because they're scared not to.
Great stuff, Jim. Well, thanks very much for your contributions. We'll see how this video goes down on my YouTube channel. I'm sure it'll go down well. Really appreciate your thoughts and your insights, and thanks very much for basically having your own opinion and expressing it, because it's sadly lacking in today's world. So thank you, I really appreciate it, and we'll get you on here again soon.
Nice one.
All right then. Okay, please leave a comment and let us know what you think about what Jim just said. Give us a thumbs up and like and share. All right, bye bye.